Call this meeting to order. Call for the roll call. Council at large Booth. At large Spear.
Here.
Council Ward number 1 Leeper.
Here.
Ward number 2 Anderson.
Here.
And Ward number 3 McNeil.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda approved. If there are no additions or subtractions, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Booth with the first, and Leeper with the second.
Anderson?
Yep.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
All right, so that's been approved, and now we'll move to the communications portion. There is a scheduled portion. Ms. Dion Daylow and Teresa Bowman are on the agenda to speak to us. If you don't mind making your way to the podium.
Thank you for having us tonight. We just wanted to, you guys supported our summer camps, so we want to talk a little bit about our summer camps that we had the last summer and give you a thank you for supporting those summer camps. On here are some pictures of some kids that attended those camps. The cardboard boat regatta, which you can see there's a lot of kids involved in that. We had kids in the kitchen, which taught them little snacks they could make on their own, healthy choices they really stressed. We had a culture camp where they learned, they made hats to represent different cultures and learned different dances. There was lots of laughing that we heard coming out of there. So just a lot of fun was had. You can see up here the little preschoolers with their goggles and their lab coats on because they were being scientists, pint-sized science camp. They always enjoy that. So we just wanted to thank you. We gave out over 40 scholarships to kids that couldn't afford the full price. We try to make it affordable, but we also want to give that option as well. And we had over 400 kids attend our camps through starting in May through the end. So thank you. And then we're offering camps again this year, and I'm gonna.
So I guess I have an official request that we would like to ask, and I'll just read a letter and then I can give it to you guys. But, dear council members, Cedar County Extension and Outreach is proud to be able to offer opportunities to Cedar County youth that spark curiosity and engage critical thinking. We will again be offering summer discovery camps, summer STEM and healthy living camps, spring project workshop series, county library programs, and a cardboard boat regatta for youth in kindergarten through 8th grade. We aim to provide programming that is fun and meaningful for all the youth of Cedar County. Campers will explore hands-on challenges using state-of-the-art technology and tools, engage in physical activity to promote healthy lifestyles, and create snacks to feed their minds and bodies. Iowa State University Extension has offered summer discovery camps, library programs, STEM and healthy living camps, and the cardboard boat regatta in Cedar County for several years, and just last year we added the spring project workshop series. There were over 400 youth from Cedar County that participated in the programs in 2018. Well over half of those kids were residents of Tipton. Our goal is to be inclusive and provide opportunities for all families. Cedar County Extension Council has made the commitment to hire 5 summer staff to plan and lead these opportunities. The council wants to ensure that students engage in high-quality learning opportunities. Cedar County Extension is committed to providing STEM and healthy living opportunities to our youth at a reasonable price. We would like to maintain a low registration fee for our families that choose to participate. Registration fees contribute to the cost of the camp supplies, snacks, staff, and mileage. We are requesting funding of $500 from the City of Tipton to help assist with the costs of all of these programs. Thank you for your consideration of funding this program. We'll be offering Tipton Summer Discovery Camps and Spring Project Workshop Series starting in May and running through July, actually through August this summer, and several of these opportunities will take place right in the Tipton City Park.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the summer programs. All right. So those were the only ones that were scheduled in the communications. If there's anybody else who'd like to address the council, you can make your way to the podium. Seeing there is none, we will close that portion of the meeting and move on to the consent agenda, which these can be enacted with one motion. They are the city council minutes from February 4th, the council minutes from February 6th, treasurer's investments reports in January of 2019, the cemetery minutes from January 29th of 19, airport minutes from January 9th of 19, airport minutes of February 13th of 19, and a liquor license for St. Mary's Church, along with the claims list. Does any of these need to be pulled out, or anything? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? McNeil with the first and Anderson with the second.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper. McNeil. Oops.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Alright, so those are passed, and now we'll move on to old business, which the first one is a resolution, and it is outlining the extent a former employee who is ineligible for rehire may attend city or departmental social functions. Brian, do you have anything to add to this resolution?
This was on the last agenda, and it was asked to be tabled. Again, it covers.
Sorry, I need to ask for a motion to take it off the table then.
Oh, okay.
Is there a motion to take it off the table?
Second.
McNeil with the first and Spear with the second. Sorry, Brian.
Leeper.
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Oops.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Alright. Please continue, Brian.
The resolution is in regard to employees, former employees who are ineligible for rehiring. It looks at two situations. It makes them ineligible for official city or departmental events that are not open to the general public. And then it has a second provision where that person would need city manager approval for any city or departmental events that are not open to the general public and occur in city buildings or on city grounds. So, again, it was tabled from the last meeting, and this is largely an opportunity to think about it and field some questions. And so I guess it's ready for you to consider and vote on if you want.
Is there any thoughts on this from the council?
I shared a few of my issues, and I still feel that the wording was fairly broad for me. And I think that whenever we do something like that or implement something like that, we're asking for a lot of different interpretations of what it is. I still am a little unsure of, to my mind, I can only maybe consider two events that this would even apply to. And I feel that it would be really difficult to police. And I think that at any event that we would have, if someone came that wasn't wanted, probably the first thing we're gonna do is call the police department and have them removed. So I don't know that
Well,
this does this for me.
there's more than one possibility. If someone came to an event, let's take the example. Someone comes to an event that anybody in the public could buy a ticket to, and they enter. We wouldn't be asking the person who's taking a ticket to evaluate what to do or to do anything.
Right.
But we would want the people, the department who is running the event to know if there's anybody who fit this list. They would then contact a city official, whether it's the mayor, me, Lisa, Sergeant Peck. That person would then be asked to leave. They'd be given their money back. If there are any events where, something gets passed, then, and we find out about it, then you send a warning. If you need to, there's even the possibility of citing someone for trespassing.
Right.
So, it's
But
not,
that could be done without this.
I think you need this. what would be the basis of a trespass charge if you didn't have something like this?
Well, you're right, I get your point. So, but they could still be asked to leave?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
without this?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would they be able to attend council meetings?
Well, yeah, because anybody in the public can, yeah.
Okay.
So the person would be able to attend stuff on city property as long as it was general.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts?
My thought is the lawyer's interpretation of all this stuff was to do something. I motion to go forward with it.
Motion to adopt the resolution, McNeil with the first,
I'll go with second.
and Anderson with the second.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Oops,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
No.
Alright, so next old business is discussion of possible action concerning the Highway 38 project and the city committee's re-interview of IIW. An update
Yeah,
from Brian.
this happened just last night. The committee included Leanne, Tim, and the mayor. It also included city staff members such as Steve, Brian, Floyd, and me. Again, the idea was to basically get comfortable with the staff changes at IIW, because as a result of the original interview process, their firm was chosen with a specific project manager who's no longer there. They brought in a new project manager who none of us knew. So at least I felt it was right to re-interview the firm and see if the council had a comfort level to go forward. And I think the result of the interview is, the answer was yes. And along with that, IIW explained a grant project that they worked on in my former town, where they applied for what's called a build grant, and I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but they ended up getting over $3 million in federal highway money. And so they were explaining the application process, and it does add to the cost of design engineering, and it has a grant writing fee to apply. But as we understand the timeline for that grant and the timeline for our project, we would have 2 tries at applying. And so the committee was, I just asked them for their first impression. And again, they wanted to keep going with IIW, and they wanted to pursue this build project. And, the thing about them and that other town, they're essentially the same project. In that case, it was a city DOT project on Highway 64. Here it's the same thing, but Highway 38. They added some things, and in order to check some boxes in that application, we'd have to add some things that weren't in the original idea. But it's something that, at least the input we had last night, the committee wants to see where it goes. So we're going to move forward along those lines. I don't have a new contract document for design yet. That'll come in the future for the next step, which would be the design engineering. But anyway, that's an update on where we are with Highway 38 and the engineering firm. And I'd invite anybody who was there on the committee to add anything they'd like to if they want.
One of the things that they talked about with the build grant was an emphasis could be put on some safety features. And I thought that was a good deal. So that's why we want to try and get some of that stuff incorporated.
So to number 3, which is resolutions setting the time and place for a public hearing for the purpose of soliciting written and oral comments on the city's proposed fiscal year. Melissa?
Yes. One thing I wanted to touch on quickly, when we had our budget workshop on the 6th, we had mentioned that that wasn't the finalized budget. We could still make a few adjustments within. And the adjustment that I want to bring your attention to, and I printed out an example so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We talked about some projects where we were transferring in from cash, road use. We had street projects that we were going to transfer in from cash from our aquatic center, repairs, some lighting. So originally when I showed you the budget, I referenced those in a budget transfer line in the revenue side of it. So when I was putting this information into the state form though, my transfers weren't matching up, and it was because the state form doesn't have a place in there where I can show a transfer in from cash, because that cash is already within that fund, so it doesn't need to be in the budget. So where you will see it though is in the resolution at your next council meeting, when we talk and approve the budget, hopefully, on the 11th, I will detail out where those transfers from cash are within those specific funds. So, for example, you have this road use tax fund. You'll notice on the back page, on page 8, there is a deficit of $209,000. That's showing the expense of the funds, but it's a deficit because I can't show in the transfer of the cash. So that will be reflected in the resolution that you'll see on the 11th. So that was the only change throughout. I adjusted, I had to pull out all those transfers from cash, and I detailed it in the expense part. I made a note that that's where that funding was coming from. So that is all.
Thank you.
So the time and place for the public hearing will be 5:30 on March 11th.
11th, yes.
Is there a motion to set that time?
So moved. Second.
Boots with the first and Spear with the second.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil.
Yes.
Excuse me. Okay, so now down to new business, which is a resolution setting the public hearing regarding the proposed plans, specs, form of contract, and estimated cost for our 2019 street improvement projects.
Right, yeah, this is just that, it'll be at your next meeting on the 11th. I briefly went into the estimated cost of the 3 projects at your last meeting. I think it came to $350,000 or thereabouts. That doesn't include the engineering itself. Anyway, that's pretty much it unless anybody has any questions.
Is there a motion to set the March 11th for this hearing as well?
So moved.
Second.
Spear with the first and Leeper with the second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil, Boots.
Yes.
Number 2, which is discussion of possible action concerning the electric consulting agreement with Latham Urban and Associates. This will be regarding the Louisa generating station.
Yeah, I kind of gave a preview of that at your last meeting, I think it was, where the initial first step was that Latham was hired to see if there was interest in the city's share of Louisa. And he gave me a verbal report, said that his finding was yes. He felt there was significant enough interest to go to the next step, which this agreement would cover. He would develop a request for proposal form. He'd do it in cooperation with one of our city attorneys, and it would then be issued to these companies that, or entities in a way, that showed interest. It would be similar to a bid opening. We would find what they're proposing. He would evaluate and give us a recommendation on what he thinks we ought to consider. And in the end, this agreement includes his working with our attorney to develop what would amount to be a purchase agreement. His estimated cost is $15,000 in this agreement.
Any questions for Brian? Is there a motion?
What are we proposing to do with the sale money?
Well, it would go into the electric fund.
Electric.
So we haven't earmarked it for anything in particular.
Not yet.
No.
One of the ideas was to start to put the underground, but I don't know, that was 2 years ago when we first thought of this, but.
Yeah, we've talked about that. There's some other things we've talked about. You know, there's some things that we need. But this isn't the time for it. It'd have to be decided later.
I think the other reason why Latham contacted at this time was he thought that it was more opportune for making a sale. That we could probably do better than if we more or less waited.
I was a little confused on the report we got from him addressing that. Did we generate income from it each year? You know, the figures were a little skewed, I thought, and
I don't remember back. I know what you're referring to, but I don't remember well enough to answer you here.
okay. Do you remember?
We can get you numbers. Wasn't it that there's a lot of risk with it too, that if it would go down,
Yeah.
for maintenance, we would still be responsible
Or
for
if it
We're
gets
still like,
commissioned.
let's say catastrophic event happened there, like a cooling tower fell or something like that. Or the ash pit, fly ash pit fails or something like that, releases fly ash or, you know, into a stream or something like that, we would be responsible for our share of the cleanup. As I remember the numbers and stuff, there was 1 year we did fairly well, and then another year it was kind of like every other year. It seemed like we made a little bit, and then the other years we either lost or we just barely broke even. It wasn't one of those.
Yeah, I couldn't follow.
It's not like I can't say with certainty, but it's not like we made $250,000 off of it every year. I wouldn't say that ever happened.
Compared to the amount that we made off of it when we first got into it, compare it to today,
Yes.
not very well.
No.
It's really not a comparison.
Well, back at the time, they produced it for a lot less than they're doing now. I got an idea what they produce it for. But I think they produced it then for half of what they're doing now, back when it first started, in the early 80s. And I based that off of coal shipments, satellite imagery, I count the cars on the parking lot. Gives me an idea how many employees they have on a shift. So, like I say, there is a lot of variables with the place. And a lot of.
Yeah, in 1 year it looks like net energy plus capacity was 408 in 14-15. In 15-16 it was negative 82,000. 16-17 it was net of 253, 637, and 17-18 negative 35.
He gave an explanation of the up and down numbers just before you went ahead with his phase one, but I don't remember what that was. But it was something you considered back at the time.
Was the net, was that for the entire plant, or was that for?
It says net revenue before unspecified obligations, and it says net energy plus capacity. in 14-15 were 657 with a revenue of 720. And then the 17-18, they didn't have a one line of expense, but it was expense of 719 with a revenue of 539. So yes, it seems like it's
Yeah, thank you.
alright. So is there a motion either which way with this? To table, to approve, to not pass?
Motion to approve.
Boots with the first to approve the consulting agreement. Lieber with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber, McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yeah.
Alright, so number 3, which is discussion and possible action with a revolving loan fund application for the Secret Place Tattoo. Linda?
No. Well, I sent the information regarding the new business with Chris Gamma, and he would be located in the building with Trends and Traditions. It's a new business for him. He has requested the $5,300 to get started. That was looked at by the financial board, and then also it was passed by the commission that he met all the criteria for this particular loan. It would be a 7-year loan, and the interest rate that was requested and approved by both financial and commission for you to look at and approve was 0.5%. It makes our businesses grow because of what's going on, and it gives people opportunity to maybe get their dreams started. And so I'm requesting the $5,300 for Chris. And if you have any questions, there's going to be, the attorney will draw the contract, of course. We are going to put a lien on a car that he has for collateral, and we also are going to get a lien on his equipment for collateral as well.
Alright. Any other questions for Linda? Is there a motion on this?
So moved.
Boots with the first and McNeil with the second.
Lieber,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson, Spear,
Yes.
Alright. And then the next one, which is a drip application for Tiffany's Tipton Bakery.
Correct. So the bakery is in dire need of flooring, and I did enclose some photos, as I always do, because we keep track of that. Project before and project after. So also electrical, and because it's going to stay in a permanent building, that too was looked at. She's got to upgrade some things. She's going to be getting some new equipment in, and she needs to make sure that it holds and it doesn't ruin new equipment. And so the total project for the flooring and the electrical work is $18,900. The commission looked at that and approved $7,500 of that for her to get this project started. Questions?
There are none. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Spear with first and Leaper with second.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Lieber,
Yes.
Thank you, and I would like to let you know that it's really becoming very popular, and the businesses are really taking advantage of what is going on with our city. I have more applications on my desk, and so in the future, I will very soon, I'll be bringing additional requests to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so now down to the next new business item, which is discussion of possible action concerning a one-time water and sewer bill exemption at 1103 Tipton Avenue. In the packet, I believe it says they think they got it fixed. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Anderson with first and Boots with the second.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Alright, next up is the discussion of possible action concerning the annual police department report. Chief Kemper?
Always have questions. Hopefully put all the information in there.
Looks like you were busy.
We're always busy, yeah, good and bad, I guess. So if you have any questions about anything, I will kind of piggyback onto what the extension office said. We really like to partner with them because we can reach a lot of kids, so we've done the cardboard regatta 2 years in a row, and it's really fun. You have to make a cardboard boat that floats, and they give you the cardboard and the duct tape. And the kids take like a 3 or 4 hour class at the beginning of the day, and then after lunch, you then help them construct this. And you're basically kind of supervision, and it's really a lot of fun. We also have been partnering with them. I don't even know if I put it on because it's a newer program. It's for kind of middle school kids, and I can't, on your own or something like that. Kids that kind of latchkey kids. They're home by themselves maybe after school, or they're getting to that point they really don't need a babysitter, but the parents aren't quite ready. So it's a 7 or 8 hour class. It's an all day class, and they have us come in for about 20, 30 minutes, and we talk about safety. So we have just a very small part of that program that they just started, and they have, I think they put on 3 of the programs, and they're going to do them every year. So, yeah. Any more questions?
So is there a motion to approve, or file this report? Anderson with first and McNeil with the second.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Lisa.
Alright, and down to the last one for new business, which is discussion of possible action, the proposal for geotechnical engineering services by Terracon for a Sager project.
Yeah,
Right?
this came in yesterday, and Melissa amended the agenda in order to get it on for tonight. Terracon has given a proposal for soil borings for the Sager project. It's been recommended, it was evaluated by Alex Potter with McClure and recommended for your approval. And again, the estimated range is $7,650 to $9,000. It's just a necessary part of that project.
Alright. Any questions or comments? There are none. Is there a motion? McNeil with the first and Boots with the second.
Spear,
Yes.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Alright, this brings us down to the report section, the mayor's report. I don't have anything to report other than to thank Steve and his crew for keeping Tipton open during this trying winter time. Done a pretty darn good job, I believe, and I haven't heard any complaints. It's not made it to me. But that's all I have. And thanks for everybody showing up tonight, because I know it's kind of trying outside as well. To council reports. Committee, the city manager's report.
Yeah, I have something that I just wanted to mention. Along with you, I received an email, and Stuart received it. It goes back to the Louisa Generating Station project. There was a concern that the council know more about the history of the project. It notes the original cost of $520 million, and if the city had a 0.5% share, that would be $2.6 million. And then it says in part, I want to know the history of the purchase of the 0.5% ownership. How was the purchase financed? General obligation bonds or revenue bonds? Total price, how many years, and how much interest paid? Were any other bonds issued over the years for major station upgrades or repairs? If so, general revenue bonds, total price, how many years, how much interest paid. I would expect each council member to want to know all of this history. To me, this would be a work assignment that you would want us to pursue, indeed more than just me. Would the history of the Louisa station add to your consideration of its possible sale of the city's share? You want us to pursue that?
Just myself, I honestly don't know how that past would affect what consequences we might have in the future, as far as responsibility for payments and stuff that we might not have the money for. That's what I'm more concerned about, is in the future, what are the possibilities? That's just me, personally.
I can't see where now we can look back and see there's anything that we can change of the history. How can we change something that's already passed? And since it's not as viable for the city as it was when we first purchased it, I see no reason for us to keep it. Because it will eventually cost us a whole lot more money for our part of that 1% or whatever it is that we own of that, when something goes bad in that. And it's 30-some years old now. It's not gonna last forever. Look at the project that up at Payload that they're closing down. They're beginning to phase those properties out. We don't wanna be standing here with a hole in the bottom of our bucket trying to boil water.
One thing that I will say about Louisa is that if you pay attention to Mid-America ads and their stance on things, is that they want to be 100% renewable energy. I think it's by 2022 or 2025, I don't remember exactly. But with that being said, you remember this cold snap we had at the end of January, those 2 days there, I believe it was the 30th and the 31st. We were called to generate because the wind wasn't blowing hard enough and most of the solar panels were covered with snow and ice. Mid-American did rebuild. They went through an overhaul process in the 17-18 fiscal year of that plant. They plan on having a future with it for the next 30 years. That is exactly what I was told at the last meeting I was at. That they have a future for it, they believe in it for the next 30 years. Now, like I say, I can play with the numbers a little bit, but when you start talking some of this big stuff like Bob Latham's dealing with, that was never my, forte in the world. But, there's some concerns for me with it, and and we never see the energy. I don't know if everybody realizes that or not. We never see 1 kilowatt of that energy. It never comes to Tipton. It goes right out of Louisa, it heads south-southwest, and goes along that corridor along the southern edge of Iowa. And what it is, it's basically a virtual metering agreement where we're paid for those kilowatts. But they never, ever come to Tipton, ever.
All right.
We don't get the value from them.
I wouldn't say we don't get the value from them. I would say we get a value that is monetary, but it's not. I think there's some risk involved with this, and I think the reward is getting lesser and lesser. That's my opinion.
So if we would do a voice roll call a vote if
I
Brian.
want to make another
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Over the past few years, Tipton's staff has taken a lot of time and hours trying to get some of these facts and figures together, and it's all the past. Now, I don't know about the rest of the council, but I'm trying to move to the future. We're trying to get things fixed, we're trying to make amenities that, you know, the public's gonna wanna come here. I don't wanna keep rehashing the past, and it's happening over and over and over again. It's time to move on. So, that's my thought.
So is general direction to not look up these facts or these figures? All right, there's your direction, Mr. Wagner. Anything else? All right, then moving on to department heads. Mr. Nash?
Thank you. I just have one heads up kind of thing. Most of you remember we started this tote system, automatic truck thing, I think 12 years ago. We were told at the time, Cascade totes that we have been using since that time, they told us these are probably 10-year lifespan. That's about what you can expect out of those plastic totes. A lot of them have cracked, been destroyed. Wheels come off, we can put those back on. But when they break, they're done. We've taken a lot of them, the broken ones, and have had them recycled out here with Cedar Poly. We're in a situation again where every year we're out of containers, totes. So I am seeking right now quotes from Cascade again for some medium and the 64 and 96 gallon totes. They're somewhere between $45 and $50 a piece. So
Is it just for the garbage, Steve, or
these are just garbage this time, Leanne. Last year we got 58, I believe, of the bigger 96 gallon recycle. We have quite a few 64 recycle containers as a result, because a lot of people traded in their 64s for 96. So we have a lot of 64s now in that, but we're running out of the garbage cans. Another thing that we're finding, we're not going to pursue the smaller cans any more than 35s. We have a real hard time dumping those, especially with our current truck. The new truck might be a little different, but which comes sometime later this year. But the smaller cans end up in the hopper lots of times. And if they have any wet or ice on them, it gives Roger a good workout. He can climb in and out of that truck about 50 times, and it's a good workout. It takes a long time. It's not what it's designed to be. So, and Roger's probably the least likely of my guys to climb in and out of the truck. I don't even want to do it. Anyway, I'll be hopefully next meeting I'll have some quotes and we can move forward with it. We have some need out there right now that we can't meet. So, thank you.
Thank you much, Steve. All right, so now we're down to adjournment.
Oh,
sorry. I forgot, Steve was the only one who scheduled something.
sorry. I know you're gonna be surprised, but I was surprised today too.
I always love to be surprised at me.
A good surprise or a bad surprise?
Well, it's a surprise I want to.
Never surprised the thing.
Well, I try not to. Sorry, Amy, I don't have one, but I'll get you one tomorrow. Or I can give you one I have. Okay, today I made a call to Cypress Engines for actually two things. The first thing was I asked them to check into 2 years ago about making our Caterpillar engine and our MTU engines so they could run off natural gas. it would cut the operating costs by about 70% if we could run them on natural gas instead of diesel fuel all the time. So, and with that being said, they'd run cleaner, they would, you know, be a lot more flexible. So we talked about that, and then the other thing we talked about was the OP engine, and he's going to be in Iowa, in Emerson, Iowa, next week. And I was going to bring this to you on March 4th, but he kind of threw me for a curveball and said he's going to be here and he could save us, you know, a significant amount of money. And I figured if Emerson, Iowa is 200 miles away, he said he's only going to charge me for the mileage to come from Emerson to here, which would be probably about $500. That would knock, you know, the mileage rate down to $500 instead of $5,800 and he quoted. But what this goes back to is when we rebuilt the engine, I want you to understand, we rebuilt the engine. We did not remanufacture the engine. So remanufacturing involves, I mean, we would have took the crank out of it, both upper and lower, and we would have pulled the gen set off of it, and we would have measured everything. Well, in the rebuild process, we did not measure any of this stuff here for the natural gas to work properly. Now, with that being said, you know, if we knocked, you know, we could get this bill maybe down to $10,000 or $11,000 instead of $15,000. But I need a consensus that it's okay for me to go ahead, which I had budgeted for this. But I wanted to talk to Melissa first about some budget things that are going on. And I kind of wanted to get a consensus of how everybody felt, but I wanted that to kind of hinge on what Melissa and I discuss tomorrow or Friday. What do you look at me like that for? I'm not throwing you under the bus. Huh? But
Maybe she just noticed the January 10th.
well, no, I've known about this, but I wanted to wait till later because the problem is in the wintertime, we have the engine so that we can't run natural gas most of the time during the winter because Virgil runs the peak shaving plant, which you said you haven't ran for what?
3 years.
3 years? And right now, the natural gas is shut off to the power plant. So, and I talked to him just briefly before we come, and he thinks he can turn it back on, and we could run the engine and everything, do the testing now. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait until March, get approval, and then schedule it in April or May, is what my original plan was. Even though, and I mean, like I say, I've known about this since January. But like I say, I didn't want to bring it to you until like March, until we both, Virgil and I both kind of had a better feel about how the winter was going and what we could get away with. So that's kind of why I sat on it. But if you don't want me to go ahead, that's fine. I can make some adjustments in next year's budget and do something different, or, you know, depending on what Melissa and I figure out, you know, this week, you know, and I can let him know. I mean, I don't like doing it this way, and trust me, I don't.
Do you need to know before the next meeting?
Yeah, because they're gonna be in Iowa next week. You ever been to Emerson, Iowa? You know where it's at. I can't figure, I was gonna ask him what they're doing down there, because it's just a little town. Might be 400 or 500 people.
They're smaller by now.
Well, I'm thinking about the last time I was there was about 8 years ago.
It's been probably 25.
So knock it down to less than 10.
Well, I'm looking at, instead of it being 5,800, it would be 500. So basically,
Yep.
yeah, it'd be 9,600, but I'm guessing that's what it's gonna be. I didn't, because he was driving when him and I talked. But, you know, the Caterpillar thing was the main thing that I called about, because I was trying to find the data plate information that they wanted, and then he brought this up, and I said, well, actually, I have that planned for the March agenda. And matter of fact, I started writing the agenda item today. And then when I talked to him, it was kind of a surprise. So, but at any rate, like I say, it's up to you folks, and I mean, and if you don't want to do it, I understand. You know, so,
Where are we spending diesel fuel now?
depends upon how much we run. Typically, when you run on natural gas, you cut the cost by about 60 to 70%. You still have to use diesel fuel, it's a pilot fuel.
Right.
But instead of burning or diesel fuel at over $2 a gallon, and it cost me about 25 cents a kilowatt hour to 28 kilowatt an hour to make it. And that is not including labor, that is not including maintenance, that's just including fuel, and that's it. There's no wear and tear taken into account, there's no maintenance, there's, you know, there's nothing taken into account with that. So when I figure if I throw the hourly wages in there and stuff like that, it's gonna bump it up to about 34, 35 cents a kilowatt hour to produce it. Maybe more. I stopped at that because it was scaring me.
But the engine running strictly diesel is not near as efficient cost-wise as it is with
Natural gas.
natural gas.
Yeah. If we could burn that 70% mixture, I'm figuring it's gonna cost us about 5 or 6 cents a kilowatt to make it when we're generating. So it'd be a lot more economical. Like I say, I told you all along that we've got that one engine over there that we cannot run on natural gas because we're scared of it.
I don't blame you.
So,
I was scared of it when I
but
30 years ago.
So, is there any guidance before? I mean, to me, it sounds.
Well, I guess I'm questioning, is it in the budget? I mean, is that
I
what
did
you need
budget
that?
for it, I've got $125,000 in that budget line.
Well, not just for this. So
Yeah,
this
just-
fits.
It was for this and some other things that I wanted to do, but I've held back because of some of the things that have happened to us. And I haven't spent that money. It was originally $140,000 I had budgeted on that line.
And this would have been included in that 140.
Mhm. So,
Is that what you're saying? 5?
well, yeah, I think we need to look at the budget, but, you know, and see what, and make it hinge on what you and I decide.
I'm okay with it.
What do you think? Save us 5,000,
Yeah.
knocks the cost down to.
You may wanna have them, is that amended travel mileage or whatever it is that based on what he told you or based on what you're assuming?
I'm assuming, because he told me the only mileage he would charge me is to come from Emerson to here. That was the phone
And they're,
conversation.
and they're on Texas.
Yeah, they're gonna charge Emerson for all the mileage and
See,
everything else.
that's, if Emerson finds out, they're gonna want it to be half, that is my guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we're bigger than they are, so. I'm familiar with that area too, so's Tim.
So, could the guidance be,
Can I make a proposal?
Yeah.
How about if we let Melissa and Floyd talk tomorrow and maybe send out an email
Subject
with
to-
the,
Yeah, and then Brian, we'll include Brian in the conversation
yeah,
too.
if it looks positive, then I'm okay with that.
But, well, I planned on it anyway, but I wanted them to know that I was going to. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna throw you out the door.
If you're not busy.
But, and then the other thing I wanted to let you know is that they have started working on, looking at our paperwork at MyCell. So they have billed us for some hours, not very many, but, and like Melissa and I talked the other day, it'd sure be nice to see that other $240,000 coming down the pipe here real soon.
Yeah.
It would really help, immensely. So, but with that being said, we've been busy, the new help's all started. I think you all know that Josh left to go work for the REC, and we hired Grace Hall. And he started Tuesday. Yeah,
Yesterday?
so, yeah. Yeah, 'cause it is Wednesday, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Thank you, Floyd. All right, so now we're down to adjournments. There is a motion to adjourn. McNeil with first and Anderson with the second.
Lieber,
Yeah.
McNeil, Booth,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.